Welcome to the second weekly community Ergo AMA. The new format that we're hosting involves everybody here, which means if you show up, be prepared to either ask questions or listen or be asked questions because it's an AMA for everybody and it's a community, and that's how it works. We've got a nice crowd today with Dimitri, Kushti, Byron, Anon X, Anthony, Grayman, Blake Starkenberg, Faku, and Odi Boha. So this is going to be great that everybody's here. Thanks so much for coming. What's new, guys? Anybody? Kushti, you're muted.
Nice company here. Yeah, a lot of new faces also.
It is great to see. We've got Odi actually just took over. If you can see, where is he in this chart? He's over there, way over there. There, my finger's pointing. He just took over the Sigmanauts Twitter. So hopefully we see some activity back out of that Twitter. It's been dormant for a little bit. So very excited to see what he's going to bring to the table there. Hopefully some, I vote for spiciness. Some people don't like spiciness, but I think that's the purpose. I think that account can handle some things like that the main account potentially can't. So looking forward to seeing what's coming out of there. Yeah. How's your week been, guys?
Yeah, also nothing bad in spiciness, right? So it's actually attracting. Yeah, at some point creating dramas, but yeah, the dramas are unavoidable anyway, probably, right? So
it is dramas.
So why to have boring dramas if you can have spicy dramas?
Oh boy! All right, we'll see what Odie does later today. He's just gonna delete the count like Joe does. Just done. Oh boy. Yeah, no, that account could use some dusting off, that's for sure. It's always been it's been through the hands of several people, and everybody that's touched it has done a great job and brought something different and new. And I think everybody, last I checked, everybody that's used it still has access to it. So there's about 5 people that can post at once and have different voices, and it's a community account, so it perfectly fits that bill. So looking forward to that, Odie. See what you bring to the table. What else? What's new on my part? It's been a busy week here around. We've had my ErgoPort bots actually went offline for a week or two, and I had to bring those back up. There was some NGINX issue. But infra machines are in the back of my car, all boxed up that I showed you last week, and ready to be shipped out. I just have to swing by USPS on the way home by today, tomorrow, Friday. So those guys should see that, and we'll get an increase to the P2P infrastructure. I spoke with Mark Glasgow over the week, and I think the next target is to infra the ergoplatform.org website completely, ergoplatform.com, simply because Google charges us right up the ass for hosting. It's pretty bad. So if we can infra that and get that off that'll save a cost to the EF and move it to the community, which is fantastic. So slowly moving in that direction. And on a side note as well, for the educational stuff that we were talking about last week, I've further integrated more LLMs into at least my school side here, so getting more practice to what it's going to be like in automation when we finally move on to doing that with Ergo platform content and videos and all that kind of stuff. So really looking forward to that, but I'm pacing myself. I don't want to start another task before we finish up and get the infrastructure DAO fully stabilized. So yeah, trying to pace that out. What about you guys? Kushti, what's new?
So busy as usual. Composing some text. Also, we'll post in the main Telegram chat just after the call. So other than that, yeah. So busy developing and managing developers in different ways, different projects. So yeah, that's more or less it.
Let's bang through the dev updates that were yesterday real quick. I'll read them off and maybe there's something to chat about there.
All right.
Incoming screen share, folks. There we go. Right, so Kushti yesterday, 9:06 a.m., Ergo protocol and reference client R&D. Re-reviewed 6.0 changes in Node, made PR with some minor improvements, polished and proposed for review second PR. Towards subblocks now in Sigma SDK, will be merged after design doc discussion and approval. Next for Sigma, plan refactoring and extensible context to reuse our programmable money engine and sidechain, off-chain environments, etc. And testing along with Potato and improving P2P layer for subblocks. Is Potato running a DevNet, Kushti? Is that what it is?
Potato. So I'm running a seed node, and he's joining and then reporting.
Awesome.
Yes, some issues. Yeah, well, the last one. So I'm also joining with my nodes. So sometimes it's about 3 nodes, sometimes 2. And yeah, well, issues he has sometimes not reproducible on my side.
Kushti, how far away geologically is he from you? I'm wondering how that affects node synchronization with faster subblocks.
Oh,
Any
but
issues?
yeah, but I don't know. Oh, wait. So seed node is in Hetzner, Germany data center probably. And then Potato, I don't know, probably Latin America, somewhat. But yeah,
All right, so that's a good span. That's a good test, I think.
that's my guess. Yeah. So, but also DevNet is kind of extreme, so it has blocks every 30 seconds. So, and yes, 60 subblocks per block. So yeah, it means 2 subblocks a second even. So it's quite intense.
Oh wow! So you kept the 30-second PyNet when you moved to DevNet and applied subblocks to that. That's pretty extreme. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, but that's good for testing also.
Yeah. All right, then you got Git circles. You reviewed and merged a pull. You've agreed to use Ergo addresses instead of SEP C256 K1. And Wushu Balance is improving implementation plan. Who's Wushu Balance, Kushti?
Yes, so a couple of new developers. So yeah, Bro Etiquette and Wushu Balance. Yeah, so Wushu Balance is actually Get Cycles idea author. And yeah, Bro Etiquette is well, some contributor with Rust. So yeah, I'm actually just reporting what they are doing mostly. So yeah, it's the project after all, and yeah, it's so Git Circles is a project to create kind of community currencies, but for digital development communities where you get tokens for committing to some repositories. And yeah, so we will start testing, creating token manually and doing some testing transactions manually also, just like a few days. And then yeah, the development is going on. So there is Git bot already done, as well as persistence layer. So the next step is some GitHub application and the Ergo off-chain side.
Cool. And you think this would ever be able to implement something like a DAO integration into Git Circles, to where if something is approved on a DAO, if a merge request from a GitHub repository is approved on the DAO vote, then an off-chain bot executes a push or a pull for that GitHub PR request automatically, kind of thing. So DAO, so PRs are then voted on in the DAO, and then the off-chain bot executes that push, that change.
So actually, open source communities already acting as DAOs, right? Just off-chain. So usually some rule, some maintainers which are and accepting what's going to be merged into the main code base, right? And then everyone can come and propose a pull request, but not every pull request would be merged and so on. Then, it's kind of like hard topic, right? Governance in open source communities. For example, Linux, right? It's hard to imagine still 30 years after its development without a single leader. So it's a big question how Linux would be developed without Linus, right? Torvalds. And so on. So yeah, the same dependency is typical for many open source communities. Yeah, sometimes even programming languages and so on. But yeah, well, in some cases it's more or less polycentric, like Bitcoin, right? Where there are like 5 developers. Yeah, maybe different number now, which can merge. And yeah, there is no single leader officially, right? But yeah, in practice, it's about one or two guys, after all, who are making the most major decisions.
Gotcha.
And so on. But that's typical for DAOs, on-chain DAOs also, right? So when you have DAOs, usually, yeah, there are some how to say, opinion leaders, right? So it's actually quite interesting topic. So would it make sense to bring already existing kind of DAO structures like open source communities on chain, right? And build to try to build on chain DAOs or not? Maybe off chain options are more flexible, actually. So
what was that, Grayman? What Grayman was saying something?
I was just saying they barely get anything done. I mean, look at all this debate over the op return issue. It's not like they're, significantly changing the structure of the thing. I mean, when is Bitcoin going to get to 1.0?
Yeah, but sometimes, I think people are dramatic there just to get a feeling of importance, right? And to also get recognized for more, and then charge for consultancy and appearance at conference and so on. I witnessed the first op return drama a little bit back in 2014-15, and it also was more or less the same. So a lot of unnecessary dramatic talks, and so some guys hitting the discussions on purpose, I guess, in order to get more recognition. And so, well,
I mean, there's also just the drama of the big blocks and the schism, right? And it's all just over one little parameter. It's not like it's substantially changing the nature of the technology. Before Nepo PoWs, Ergo was different than it is now. That changed things in a very substantial way because it enables light clients that have full security. Right. So now my phone can be used without the same assumptions that come from spooling up a lightning channel. And how would anything like that be implemented in Bitcoin given their current governance and way of developing things?
Yeah, probably no chance. So in Ergo, so we have Nepo PoW support from day one, right? So just support on clients was lagging for some time, but the core structure was there. But for Bitcoin, there are talks since like 2012 about doing QTXO commitments, right, which are allowing for actually a lot of protocols and blockchain pruning and support for light clients, right? Even if they still have to download all the headers in the absence of NIPA pause. But yeah, still, audience, yeah, because all the interest spent on some constant
It feels like
tweaking,
Ergo
like
is.
block size.
It feels like we're still in our age of heroes part of development, and that it's very hard to put that into a box of governance. And, you know, eventually you've got to get there. I hear what you're saying. Ultimately, the goal is to write yourself out of a job so that you're no longer necessary. But there are a number of people in this community that are really carrying a lot of water up the hill. And that kind of is the way it has to be. It sort of self-forms a government, and people ask each other for help because we don't have VC funding. So we don't have daddy that we go to and ask to keep handing out dollar bills for us to go and buy some new machine or do some new approach. We just have each other. And so the governance kind of self-forms, but in the long run, if you end up like Bitcoin, it's just ossified. It's controlled by a group of people that everybody agrees are sufficiently undemanding and unchallenging that you can just argue about things like op return and not have the thing grow or change. And they'll say that that's because they just want to be conservative, but Bitcoin's unfinished, so and getting pretty old. So
yeah, and yeah, so in early years 2009 10, so yeah, they actually were quite quite radical even, right, about changes. But then yeah, well, endless wars started, and yeah, they ended up with the current state where yeah, it's not possible to change anything in the protocol basically, especially if not proposed by certain developers, like one or two of them. Yeah. Yeah, so it's quite interesting. But yeah, in case of VCs, I think it's simple, right? So, I mean, there is some organization which is paying developers and making all the decisions. But then, yeah, it's not about community, right? So if such term is used, so it's a little bit fake community always, I think, right? And yeah, it's always controlled then by who is signing checks.
Hey guys, I wanted to add something a bit about community. First of all, it's super great to talk to you all because I have been following for a very long time, and then it's now it's super great to speak and at least to be a little bit more in person with you than usually on Twitter or somewhere else. The project that I've been building is Mindhealer, and what I wanted to point out is that building was one thing, and now the most important part is marketing and community, and it's a whole different story, and it has its own challenges, and the challenges are, pretty unexpected, not what I was thinking it would be. Provided that I'm also a therapist and I have lots of connections and friends, and I thought it would have been much easier, but people are very reluctant because of this impression, because of this, what people usually think about cryptocurrency, scam or something else. And those who don't have any experience, they are very reluctant to join and to try. And so what I'm currently thinking of is that, so we have one-to-one calls at Mindhealer, so people can have one-to-one consultations. And what I'm doing right now is there would be group calls as well, so they could have seminars or something like that. And my goal is to to make maybe some free educational classes about Ergo for specialists who would come, so they will have understanding how it works, etc., etc. And over time, they will start using it more and more. But something that community could be really interested in is that I was thinking, since there is such huge demand on money that is decentralized, that is not attached to this or that country, maybe we should try and accelerate some adoption. Because, for instance, I'm currently in Brazil, but I've lived in several countries, and it's super hard when you move to a different country because you have to buy a different SIM card, work with banks. In Brazil, banks can close your account anytime without anything. They just close the account, say, oh, we had, maybe you didn't pay your taxes, maybe something else, so we closed your account. Why? Well, I don't know. Just go to the bank and ask them. And it's, well, that's the way things are. And when you move from country to country over time, it's a really huge difficulty. So what I thought, maybe we could try and, again, with the community, try to increase the community. So there are some bloggers who could potentially be very helpful, who could work for us who could do the same job for us that Roger Ver did in 2012 for Bitcoin. So they could be like ambassadors, filming how they onboard people into Ergo, something like that. Again, it's for community to think about it, but I really like the idea, and I suggest that in the Russian Telegram group, and people are kind of interesting, not sure. So currently I'm asking, and let's see how it goes with the bloggers, I mean.
You're suggesting hiring bloggers and that kind of thing?
Maybe hiring, maybe inviting them to join the community so they would promote Ergo, kind of like reality shows.
So things that I found that those people have zero interest unless you feed them funds and money. That's what I've run across with actually every outreach. There are a few, like when we started when Dev Updates a couple years ago, I started trying to just get influencers as interviewers. It was kind of a tactic to be like, hey, come talk about crypto in your sphere and what it's like, and also try to educate them on Ergo in the meantime. And it was interesting talking to some of these people. And most of the people, or actually all of the people I talked to, were more on the up and coming kind of thing, from the Cardano side at least, to try to get that kind of exposure. And even, what can I say? There's very little time or interest that they have unless there's something in it for them, I guess is a kind way to say it, right? So it's hard to convince somebody like that to be altruistic and come to a project that is altruistic and open source, right? And peer-to-peer, where there's no sight for them in the future to potentially make a ton of money off it. That's what I found. So it's a tough balance.
No.
Like look at how much Cardano paid Snek or whoever on Cardano paid Snek paid what's that guy's name, that influencer with the long hair that he cut short recently. Like they paid him, I think the number is 40 grand, I think I heard secretly that the number was $40,000. Yeah, exactly. They paid him 40, 50 grand to start promoting Snek and probably gave him a bunch of Snek as well. So is it worth it?
Yeah, but that's about so-called crypto bloggers, crypto KOLs, right? And usually, those are totally retarded and greedy bastards, and they're not creating valuable content even, right? But see, if I understand the Dimitri's idea, right? So the idea is to have some. I don't know, like borderless enthusiasts, also bloggers, right? And do some videos like how I make my money with just GPU, right? Then how I can bring it to Africa, right? Latin America without, any control, and then use there. And I can mine my digital gold, but I can also I can also convert it to stable value, right? Using stable coins, gold packed, USD packed, and also it's possible to do crowdfunding, right? For a blogger, because many of them are actually doing something like
But
that.
I think
The day trips. I mean, like travel bloggers.
the issue isn't necessarily all with KOLs. It's that the popularity for KOLs exists, right? So the issue is 90% of the 90% of the communities in crypto, and I don't even, maybe even more, they're of the mindset of we're playing with casinos, right? I mean, look at this. It's so disgusting that look at the incident that happened yesterday in the U.S. with the assassination. There were gosh darn meme coins that were tripping off at $1.5 million in volume with this guy's name on it that just got assassinated. Like that's what these KOLs are targeting. They're targeting get rich, casinos.
I mean, the point is that there is no need to spend energy, time, and money, right, on those so-called crypto people. I mean, the idea is to get ordinary people to trustless and decentralized money, because the issue is that those calls, aside of some Bitcoin maxis, right, with big experience, right? So some oldie KOL. So usually they are getting checks from VCs, right, to promote some not so decentralized, let's say politely, kinds of assets, right? The idea is to avoid this at all, and attach to like ordinary people, because we cannot fight, right, with so-called crypto. We can just build some alternative original actually vision, right? So
right. So that's a thought, Kristi. When you get a baseline with what Dimitri's talking about, you have to try to understand right from the get-go who we're trying to attract. Are we trying to attract like-minded people like us who are in crypto for the decentralized peer-to-peer nature of what Ergo is and what crypto should be? Or are we trying to attract people to pump the price of Ergo, right? So if that's established at the beginning, then you can target who you want speaking for it. Sorry,
I wanted to tell you about the audience that I was keeping in mind. So I dropped a link to one of the guys that I got in touch with. And why I got in touch with that guy? Because there is a huge, I just was thinking about one community. I'm Russian, so I was thinking about Russian community, Russian-speaking community. What's very particular about it is that there is a huge, several 100,000 people who want money that is not attached to any particular government. They just want money. They sometimes want to sell an apartment here and buy it there. So their needs are very basic, and all they know is they know about Binance and how to use it. That's the best case scenario. Sometimes they know even less. They don't know anything about decentralization. They don't know anything about this. So they basically want money. And I was thinking about the audience, and those travel bloggers, they really don't know the difference between centralized and decentralized. We can basically showcase Ergo to a new audience, and to show that it is cheap. People can make money transfers, they can use it, and then little by little we can educate them through those bloggers. Again, we can do it differently. We should target bloggers that are not exposed to crypto at all. So they might have a wallet for donations, but nothing more than that. And we can make competition for bloggers, because people who travel, they are not usually very, so their prices are not very high, let's put it like that. And we can make a competition, for instance, best explanatory video of how to install an Ergo Wallet app and how to pay for, I don't know, something on the road or something like that.
Yeah, that stuff works well, I think. And Krishti also spoke a little bit about the other method too. So, and you were touching on this too, Dmitry, where you're not necessarily getting an influencer, but you're finding a leader of a project somewhere in another country that could utilize decentralized finance, and then maybe make them a mouthpiece for it online, not just for Ergo, but for utilizing decentralized peer-to-peer finance to accomplish what they're doing and using Ergo in the meantime to do it. So I think, yeah, those are great. Those are great ideas.
But also,
sorry, go for it, Christy.
So yeah, had a talk with Wish You Balance, the Git Circles guy recently. So yeah, what's the plan? Right, is to first to test it and then to do kind of airdrop to existing developer communities, right? So in the first place to some Rust framework. Build Rust frameworks, building communities for frameworks used in Git circles and so on. All right, so the idea is to issue token, right, and to invite people to get them, and then it's at least a contribution counting kind of tool, right? But then it's not that hard to start attach economies even, right? So invite sponsors. There are always some sponsors, enthusiasts, and so on. Willing to put some money maybe into liquidity pools, just right. So you can just reuse existing tooling and so on. But the idea is to target developers, right? Not crypto people, because what's the point in dealing with so-called crypto even? I mean, it's just it's when you are dealing with people in crypto, it's mostly like a competition, who is louder, right? Who is shouting marketing buzz at the most noisy level. It's better to grab people from outside, right, and bring to build. Especially developers, right? But bring to build new economies.
Ben, you don't have to raise your hand. Just jump in, man. It's community.
Well, so I don't necessarily want to change the subject, but I want to shift the focus a little bit. When I'm on X and I see an Ergo raffle for trying to do a Mexi listing, which I think was one of the ones that was up there the last couple months.
Yeah.
There's something, and maybe this is because I'm not crypto enough, but I think being here is something. But if I was able to Apple Pay $10 from my bank account to an Ergo raffle, I would participate in 10 times the Ergo raffles that I already participate in, right? And it's also like, if I could just Apple Pay to an Ergo raffle, it kind of turns into more of a GoFundMe thing rather than, hey, I need to see this raffle, I need to remember this raffle, then I need to go to Coinbase, I need to buy some sort of coin, and then I need to go to another exchange to swap that from whatever coin I chose to Erg, and then finally I need to shift that from the exchange platform to my Ergo wallet, and then get that money to the Ergo raffle. So if like in one, this is it's more of a, hey, I want to support the Ergo community, but I don't want to go through 30 minutes of problems to be able to donate $10 to this raffle. So is there a way that you can, and once again, I'm not a super dev or anything. I can't do this, right? But is there a way that we can make it so that you could kind of turn Ergo Raffle into a GoFundMe type platform, but also have it have Ergo branding to increase brand awareness? Because the problem in crypto, and particularly with Ergo, is nobody knows what it is. I mean, there's a few of us who, I mean, for me, it was in 2021, I heard the Charles Hoskinson, Lex Friedman podcast. He mentioned Ergo. In about 2022, I started really getting into Ergo and believed in the mission. So I got my first set of Ergo. I've been a part of the community. In the last few months, I've kind of fallen off because, you know, sometimes real life gets in the way of you know, my crypto journey. But it's like the issue isn't with the community size. It's too complicated to be an Ergo user, simply put. It's, you know, back in the day, I was buying ADA on Coinbase, sending it to KuCoin, swapping my ADA for Ergo on KuCoin, sending it to my wallet. And then it's like, am I really going to go through all that effort and then donate my Ergo? And maybe I'm just speaking in circles. I don't know if anyone has anything to add off of that, but it's simply put, it's too difficult to be an Ergo user.
So you're in the US, I assume, Ben?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I first got into Ergo as well, Ergo felt like a scarce resource, right? Because it was a pain to get in the US. And I'm from New York, which is even more restrictive, right? I had to use a Florida address from my wife's account that lived there to purchase Ergo from Coinbase early on, or ADA, and then do the same path you did until they cut us off KuCoin. So there's an accessibility issue right there. I agree. But my question is to you, how are we framing that? So there's no accountability in raffles where there's something like Apple Pay link with cash, right? So let's take, for example, that Ergo raffle setup where you could donate ergs, or here's an Apple Pay link to a cash account, right? On Erg, at least, we can see exactly what happens to the Erg after the raffle finishes. It goes to a wallet, it's used, it's locked, whatever, who's using it, kind of thing. And with Raffle 2, we'll see tokens be able to do that as well. But with the fiat, there's no trail accountability or anything, right? I guess you could demand that you see it appear on chain after that, or what it's used for is some accounting base.
And I appreciate your sentiment towards transparency, right? But at a certain point, it's like, we trust that GoFundMe is going to send the funds that we send to GoFundMe to the user, right? And I know this is a big thing, like, you shouldn't trust, you should verify. But at a certain point, when does verification become an inhibitor towards growth of a product?
Right. So I can see immediately when you were speaking, ideas came to mind, like, if we want to reach the broader community as a Sigmanauts and we're fundraising for something like the Ergo meetup, I agree. There could be, here's a raffle to fundraise this, and here's a GoFundMe as well for people who want to donate fiat. So I think that's a great idea, for sure.
Well, but here's the problem.
The base of your idea is accessibility, which, it's always been a rough thing for Ergo, for sure.
Yeah, I also think. Sorry. Go ahead, Ben.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
So I think this is the perfect example, actually, and it makes sense to maybe make a list, right, of such like tests, right, for accessibility. And then, so for raffle, in particular, what's doable? So I think, not sure when, but this is achievable. So first we need for a raffle version 2, right, to have stable coins, and then some bridge where you can get stable coins supported on Ergo in exchange of Apple Pay payments, right? But as Grayman said in comments, so yeah, there is HQ already with Vault Pay, so maybe is it supporting Apple Pay? No, probably not, right? But
No, it does not. You can
yeah, well,
crypto in,
but
and you can get gift cards out. But if
yeah,
the goal
but
is to go from the conventional financial world and into Ergo, then Banksa is our best bet in the United States currently. It's not outrageous the way that they operate, but having, setting up something so that you could just click a button and have your $10 Apple Pay go into a raffle. I mean, it's just UI UX development. The fact that the back end is a raffle is good for traceability. That doesn't need to be in conflict. In fact, it could just be a value add, but it's not being added to anything right now because in order to participate in an Ergo raffle, you have to be an Ergonaut. You have to hold Ergo in a wallet and understand how to use it. And I think Ben's making some good points.
Yeah.
And I applaud you for going out on a limb and doing that, Ben, on video, because, we need somebody to stand up from that perspective and say, hey, look, this is not about, the latest technical nuance so much as it is about making it super easy to get people involved. I also like what Dimitri was saying earlier. At first, I was sort of dismissing it, but then I got his point. Let's talk to communities outside of Ergo and get those people to be interested for a variety of reasons. And that'll, any way that you can connect the real world and other communities into it, that's great. But then Ben said, hey, look, that's all well and good, but then they're going to have to go through this process of setting up a wallet and all these other things. It's a friction that we need to overcome. And the only way to overcome it is to apply lubricant, right? And that's a UI UX dev issue, and that's hard to do. Kushti's giving me the thumbs up here because you can't push a rope. I mean, he's developing, the next innovations in the core and the node. It's hard for him to switch from that into being somebody that writes a bot that works with X to press a button and then suddenly you get an Apple Pay that goes to a particular, all you have to do is sign it, right? That would be nice, but it has to be done.
Sounds like a skill issue for Kushi.
We need to get HQ on this call. Where has he been? He's probably with his little one.
he's in Pakistan probably still.
Oh, interesting.
Helping some victims of floods. And so
The floods there are outrageous.
Yeah, outrageous, crazy.
Himalayas are some of the newest mountains in the world, and boy, are they unstable. When it rains hard, it is hell to pay.
So I'm interested to do a test. Really, I think there's probably some fundraising opportunities in the SIGs we could do.
but yeah, oh, sorry.
No, I think it'd be neat. I think Ben, I think I'll integrate that into at least the tech side of the next Ergo raffle that the SIGs do a side GoFundMe for it for fiat users, and we'll see what happens. I think it's a good idea. See what happens.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm ready to take criticism by like, oh, you're a crypto group and you're still using fiat to direct fiat payments kind of thing. So that's fine, I think. But yeah.
Well, it's also like the fact of the matter is crypto is great and I love the idea in the community, but God, is it a pain in the ass to use, right? Like if I could, I'd go to the local pizza shop and pay with my Erg, right? Like that'd be great. But that's so many steps for like, that's why when I haven't kept up with this, but like Tabby POS, like that was super interesting to me. It was like the first real, and I don't know what the deal with Tabby POS is currently, but it was the first real blockchain product that I saw that was like, oh, this is actually useful in real life. It's like, DEXs are cool, kind of useless to a regular person. A lot of these things are really, and I understand that DEXs are important on the back end to make a lot of things work. I get that. But to a regular user, to a regular person, no one cares about a DEX. Like my dad, for example, isn't going to be like, oh my God, look at all these features that this really cool DEX on Ergo has, right? Like that's not me taking away from the quality of these things, right? But it's just a fact that, 60-something-year-old people who see Bitcoin and they're like, oh my God, Bitcoin's a way for me to preserve my wealth over time. Great. But then you get like, that's like layer 1. And then like Ergo's down here at like layer 7. And I appreciate Ergo for being at layer 7. But the layman is just like money, Bitcoin, money, Bitcoin, money, Bitcoin. And they're never going to use their Bitcoin in real life.
Right, Ben. So Ergo's had that agreement's a good reality check. I think Ergo's slightly aware of that, and devs are, and you'll see that in some of the products that come out, is that they're transparent to the user, right? So like MGPie's team was originally working on a ticketing system that allows concert tickets and things, Lilium, right? So that you could have on-chain governance of your ticket system, and the normal user wouldn't know. They just download an app that had an integrated wallet that passed the tokens back and forth, kind of thing. So right. I agree. I think when developers develop, they should keep that in mind, especially in Ergo, that people might not want to know that they're holding Ergo per se, but they want to know that they're holding a product. They're using a product that uses some crazy stable security and peer-to-peer network, that their data and their value is safe.
Yeah, and once again, I'm speaking out of hand because I don't have the experience to implement any of this. So if any of this is bullshit, I'm sure some of it can be, right? But it's, hey, you get them in with the Apple Pay GoFundMe type thing, and then that gives you the opportunity to educate people, meeting them where they are, rather than trying to. It's like if I'm in New York City and you're in, Woodstock, New York. It's like, how am I going to get you from Woodstock to New York City? I don't even know you, right? Like, I'm not going to be like, hey, come to New York City, and you're going to come to New York City. That's not going to happen.
Well, like you brought up some really good points, Ben. Likewise, the gray man about the stuff he was saying. But I think it's more or less a product of the time, because if you rewind time, older people kind of had a distaste for the internet. Now, if you log on to Facebook, that's where they hang out. So I think it's more of a UI thing, like what Gray Man was saying, the ease of access, and then also to what Andre was saying about the criticism from going from fiat rails to do a purpose. I don't see that as a valid criticism, like at all, because for us to even get into Ergo, you have to go from your bank account to do a purpose, right? So it's like using Ben's point, which is a good point. That's not a criticism, because people are they already, if you're donating to a GoFundMe, it's a purpose.
All right, so we got our first twat scanner of the show. Luckily, we have his face. We can post it somewhere and shame him. What an asshole. Anyway, moving on.
That might also just be some video that he put up there.
Oh, yeah. It's not his asshole, I'm sure.
No. I mean,
he was white. He was white. The person in the video was not white.
Why is that video on his phone?
I think maybe we ought to cut the feed for YouTube before we get in trouble. I don't know.
It's already there. Andy can clip it. It's not a big deal. All right. So before I was distracted, I even forgot what the hell I was going to say. Dimitri, what were you saying?
Oh yes, so cross chain participation in
So
raffle.
as long as the liquidity is available on both sides, Dimitri. So let's say you want to do a raffle and broadcast to Ethereum, Binance, all those things, but you want to use the funds on Ergo. As long as those liquidity pools exist, then Rosen could develop essentially accept tokens in Ethereum. It goes into a wallet and then automatically transfers across the bridge at the end of the raffle once it knows that it's a certain amount. So yeah, development-wise, it's totally possible and would be totally neat. Or you could, that would be really neat. Yeah, I'm still a little shell-shocked from that. Video. It's 10 o'clock. Maybe we should end on a good point.
Wait, no, don't end it yet. I want to do an advertisement that'll tie it all together.
All right, go for it, Grayman.
It's for the Autolycos DAO and Venture Capital Collective, which is formed recently on Ergo. It's a project being led by Life of IFA, and it is it's an experiment in doing governance on chain in Ergo in a sort of standard corporate form. And it's a situation where there's a token, which is called Lycos, which essentially represents a share in this enterprise. And it's been through the seed round. The next round is the sow round. And then the round after that is where we start funding projects. And the first project is a payment gateway. And I think, there have been a number of things that we need to, take into account when we end up developing a spec for that. One of them being that mixing would be involved. But I think another would be that it would actually be a way to accept and process payment from fiat into any other currency, I guess, again, assuming that you've got the liquidity to support that. So that's my little advertisement for Autolycos. It's permissionless, so you don't need my permission to join, but maybe some encouragement. The sow round's coming up soon, so keep an eye out for it.
Awesome. Very cool. And I think there's two things I just want to mention as well that we missed on the dev update. Nautilus Wallet has some stuff that came out, Fleet SDK upgrades. Nautilus is investing ledger connection issue. Machina Finance is finishing limit orders on unit tests. Also, with speaking of spam, like we just had spam troll just now. Ergo's had a couple airdrops recently of fake tokens or tokens that lead you to a fake site that want to try to get you to connect your wallet to. So just a reminder to everybody that Nautilus has those baked in ignore spam tokens, ignore NSFW tokens, because those come as well. So if you have those clicked, and I think they're clicked by default, the Sigmanauts and Ergo Explorer communities mark tokens as spam as they come in, and they're automatically hidden from your wallet. So you'll never even see them if you utilize Nautilus for that. And then you can use Terminus Wallet, a mobile wallet, to burn them if you want to as well, which is great. And I think U has a burn option on their site as well, if I'm not mistaken. So just keep in mind after that. Nautilus is also going to integrate on that community list, we're going to start putting addresses there that are known scammers, so that when you try to send funds to a known scammer address that the community is marked as a known scanner, Nautilus won't stop you per se, but the idea is to pop up a little message that says, hey buddy, this address has been marked by the community as a known asshole or a known scammer or whatever. Are you sure you want to do this? And maybe a default check to no, and then you have to yes and confirm it kind of thing. So that's a new thing coming out of Nautilus at some point in the future with these community lists. So if you are up at 3 a.m. and you recognize that a spam token went out and nobody else is awake, go ahead and submit a PR to our GitHub or go to Ergo Explorer and find that token and mark it as scam as well, or pop it in chat. Some of us will take care of it in the morning. We're a community, and it's up to us to keep each other safe for that kind of thing. So, yeah. All right, everybody.
Actually, sorry. Actually, there were more updates. So there is also revoked basis contract, and we have some new developers contributing there as well. So yeah, well, let's discuss during the next call maybe.
Yeah. There's Basis right there. There's Cyberverse update report as well came in.
Cyberverse and Maya.
Yep.
So yeah,
everybody-
let's discuss during the next call. But
Yeah, sounds good. It's always
Will
lots to
this
talk
be a
about in
frequent
Ergo.
thing, or is this a one and
Every
done?
week, Ben. I hope to see you every week, man. Come in. It's awesome
I'll
to have
be
your
here.
opinion.
And join
that's awesome.
Autolycos, Ben. Come talk to
right.
us about your ideas.
Dude, I have to find my Ergo seed phrase first.
Create a new wallet and send your shit to it.
Well, that requires me finding my seed phrase first. I think I got logged out of Nautilus.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, I'm
Gotcha.
not. I'm not logged out of Nautilus. Great.
Yeah, make a new
Perfect.
wallet.
So
and send
make
it.
a new wallet and send it ASAP. Yeah. Yep.
And everybody go to Colorado if you can.
Yes. Ergo
Fun.
meetup. I announced the first 2 speakers. I'll announce maybe today or tomorrow the 3rd speaker. 3 out of the 6 speakers or 7 speakers we have. Please come. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to live stream everything, but we'd love to have you guys here in person.
And
When is
thank you,
that?
Adi, for the Twitter stuff.
Yes, thank you, Adi. October 11th, Ben. So people are showing up Friday, October 11th is Saturday, and then there's a breakfast, community breakfast thing on Sunday as well if people are still around. Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Cool. All right, later.
And everybody check out Dimitri. Oh, he just left. He was developed. Oh, he's right there. Your picture.
I'm here.
Mind Healer as well. I poked around it, kind of thing, but super interesting idea. Neat idea.
Thanks.
Yeah, so let's discuss Mind Killer maybe also. If you
Yeah.
can join.
Hop in the
Oh,
dev
my
chat,
brain will
Dimitri, and
break
talk
it.
about it as well. Yeah, Grayman will bring it down. There's not enough erg in the world to support Grayman sessions. All right, everybody, it's been awesome. I love these community talks. I think they're a step up in what Ergo is, so fantastic.
Yeah.
Christy, any closing words?
So awesome atmosphere. Very pleasant talk. So yeah, let's continue next week.
Great. Ciao.
Thanks, everyone.